Hello again, Tone Deaf Monk. I have spent a great amount of time on this one to wrap my head around it, and I'm here to share with you on the new iBasso 3T154, which I incorrectly called in my intro video a T3. Now I know more, and I'll explain why more. Nice packaging, simple box. Let's get into the About section. And the About section, let's talk about these guys. So, 15.4 millimeter beryllium coated dynamic driver. If you've ever watched any one videos, you know I have a thing for beryllium. The shells are this magnesium alloy, which are really, really light, actually, quite surprising. And they got, on the silver version, which I have here, it's kind of like a matte silver. I really like it. I was kind of worried about banging them around a bit, but they show zero damage. I did okay. They did okay on the shell, not me. Now, 2-pin, sits flush. I should show you what this thing looks like. Dummkopf, I am. Let's go left. I know, because I painted a blue dot. You see that? On the cable. Because it has a little teeny L that's really hard to read underneath. So I bought this acrylic paint pens, and I just paint them now. I think it's really good. It's really easy to see. So let's check fitment. Here I have a Divinus velvet tip. It comes in two colors, by the way. It comes in black and it comes in this silver finish. 16 ohms, 116 dB. Now, that's kind of interesting in the fact that this massive dynamic driver is that incredibly efficient, and yes, it is. And that is why this is also called the 3T154, which makes absolutely perfect sense. 3 Tesla magnetic field, which is outstanding. If you're lucky to achieve a 1 Tesla magnetic field, you're doing pretty good. So whatever they did with their Japanese voice coil and this magnet structure works. And it powers this this dynamic driver. So let's do fitment here, and I want to show you something, a couple things. So for me, these are large. These are very large IMs. Now, it did take a while. I tried all the tips that came in the box, and I didn't get any that worked for me. And this will be something to note, is that they are very large. And so the shape of these, they have a fairly short nozzle as well. And the other part that goes into your ear is fairly bulbous, so it doesn't protrude from the shell very much to go very deep into your ear. So if you have smaller ears, this might be a fitment issue for sure. And just know that they fit fairly shallow. So for me, I use this Divinus medium large velvet tips, and they go in and they seat nicely, they fit nicely. Super comfortable, by the way, for me. And because the shells are very large, they do some incredible isolation. Like, yeah, they really, really are very isolating as well. It's a great set for chilling because you can't hear anybody else yanging on you. All right. Now, later in this video, I also have a comparison to one of my favorite sets that you don't know about. So let's go a little bit further about this. Now, it comes with this cable. Now, this is a modular SPC cable. Comes with one of these little tangly things that hook onto your shirt and rip it, so throw them away. But for this video purposes, I'm using the little iBasso And I absolutely love this modular cable. You need a tool, right? You need this little hex tool, and there's a little Allen key here to unlock it, to pull it out, okay? And to change ends. Comes with a 3.5 single-ended, comes with a 4.4. Now, one thing I noted straight out of the box is that the pins on this modular cable, where's another one? There's a pen on one, okay? You see that? They're literally 4 times the size thickness of those pins. And the same as when they go into this, because when I first saw this receptive end, and this whole thing was quite bulbous but short, I thought, wow, look at this, the round barrel of that thing. But I gotta tell you that this thing is built like a Sherman tank. It's impressive. Well done, iBasso. And I actually really do love the set screw. Keeping, why am I putting a 3.5 on it? Whatever. There you go. Just give it a small twist. Don't overdo it. Don't undo it too much either, because as I do, I spent about 40 minutes trying to find the set screw, which was kind of stupid because they also another set screw on the other one. So really not a big deal. Anyway, SBC cable. Is it a good pairing? We'll talk about that too. It's a nice cable. And that had to do with more of the sound impressions. So let's get into a little bit about the sound impressions. Now in this video, I spent a lot of time. I'm going to give you 3 sets of sound impressions, okay? Stock cable. Now, I should also note that the 3T154 comes with an extra set of nozzles. Now, I measured both. I didn't see a difference in either one. So I think they're exactly the same, unless I've missed something completely. But they measured the same. They sounded the same to me. I think it's brilliant, actually. So like the sim gods, like everyone has come out with replaceable nozzles. iBasso's done it for DMG and beyond, right, for many years. So it's not a new thing for them. Now, I will say that my set, the left side, I didn't think they were removable at first because the threads were so stiff. I couldn't get the one side off. It took a lot of effort, and then I had to make sure that if there was any metal shavings or something, that because it wasn't fitting right, that it didn't go into the dynamic driver. So I had to vacuum it out too, just to make sure. So speaking of that 15.4 beryllium driver, you can actually see this honkin' boy in there. Like, you look right in there and you can see its soul. It's there is no fake planar in here, people. It's one big badass dynamic driver, quality dynamic driver. Now, back on cue, Mr. Monk, there's a second set of brass nozzles, which I had used the opportunity to retune a little bit. So, which is, I love this, and the fact that a second set of nozzles. So here I've put a 500 level 5mm mesh filter, and inside of the nozzle I have put 2 medium 5x5mm medium density foams. So there's also a third modification, which I will talk about in a little bit here as well. But let's talk about stock sound, stock configuration. How does the, after the recommended 100 plus hours of burn-in, which I have done, how does it sound? Well, stock. Some descriptive words. punchy, clean, impactful, energetic, fun. Those are some great descriptive words. It definitely needed the burn-in time, so please don't take these things out of the box and slap them in your ears and go, because that's on you. Here's a little bit of critique on the critical listening. Stage intimate, decent depth. Actually, it was really decent depth, but not hugely wide or high, and not massively 3D. Spatial clues for like instrument placements where they're playing in the song could be a little bit less congested. And I'm okay with that. This is a critique, but it isn't a black mark. I actually prefer this kind of stage and tuning versus over 3D for me, because it allows me to sit back and enjoy the music versus my brain being pulled apart in 15 different directions with this playing over here, that playing over here, this playing behind my head, right? So that's kind of fun a bit, but not for longer sessions. It has, and I'll tell you one thing about this dynamic driver this is why this really interested me, and why I reached out to iBasso. And thank you, iBasso, for sending this to me. And because I know sometimes large drivers are not the speediest. They're not the fastest. I'm thinking home, car, pro audio. And what happens when you miniaturize dynamic drivers? Well, I've seen 6mm, 7mm micro dynamics that slam, so I know they're super fast. 10mm is kind of like the industry average now. Everyone uses them kind of 10mm. But who uses a 15.4? And why would you do so? The interesting part too, which again so tweaked me interest-wise, is that the beryllium coated. I love beryllium coated drivers. I think they have one of the best bass. That and bio-organic, some kind of treated paper cone drivers, for me, do it. They have the combination of organicness, the weight, and the speed. And beryllium, for me, does it the best. This driver has an absolute, across the entire frequency range, effortless quality to it, right? I kept saying that. That's the words that kept coming to my brain when playing music. It's like a V10 engine going up a hill, all right? So a little car analogy. It's like a V10 engine going up a hill. It's not even breaking a sweat, right? It's got tons of power. You step on the gas, it's still got go, 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 go. And that's the way this driver sounds versus a little three-banger, my little Suzuki that I almost blew up trying to go up a steep hill, right? It sounds like it's going to die. And it probably almost did. So that's the difference in a big dynamic like this one and a little one trying to do it, right? It can do it without breaking a sweat. And that's the way the whole 3T 154 comes across to me. Talking about microdynamics for a second. Now, they're not huge, again, so this is not the most resolving, most detailed beast I am out there. It is definitely above average. Would I listen to classical music on this? In its stock configuration with the stock cable, yes, I would. But you can enjoy it a bit more. Tonality, timbre-wise, for instruments are pretty good in the stock tuning as well. Okay, let's flip the page. I have actually 5 pages of notes. I went to town on this bad boy. Let's talk about how this thing sounded to me with the stock cable SPC cable, silver-plated cable, stock nozzles, no modifications. Again, crisp, clean, dynamic, energetic. It favors female vocals, but misses the mark just a tad on male vocals, but the female vocals stand out, mid-range stand out. Who would this be good for in stock tuning? Well, I thought about this. I gave it some mindful thought, and I thought great for people who really favor clean vocals over a lusher, kind of more warm mids and highs. Pen on, right? A less thick, energetic set that has lots of energy, but never, for me, it never crossed the line into sibilant beast. And that's just the way it's tuned, and we'll pull up a graph and you can see it now into stock configuration. It maintains, again, an effortless quality that never sounds like it's struggling with music. It has a really dark background, signal to noise ratio, that allows you to put details come popping out. I thought it was quite good in that regard as well. Now we get into, okay, that was how it sounded stock. And I want to talk a little bit about what happens when you do some things. Now, SIMGOT came out with the EA500, took the chi-fi industry by storm with that driver and that tuning. So it could have been Mike Bruce or it could have been Paul Wasabi. I'm not sure. I love you both. But who started playing around with a tape mod on the front vents of the EA500, and they found out it kind of boosted up the sub bass. Now this does that as well, but what happened with the EA500 is it kind of, the driver itself couldn't push through some of maybe the back pressure, where this one, with that giant motor structure and the incredible efficiency and the speediness of this driver, you can put a little piece of tape, and I'll have a picture of it, on. Now there's two sets of vents. There's one on the back, these two, and there's one 3 by the nozzle. If you put a piece of TRANSPORE tape, which you can barely see, it disappears. I didn't try micropore tape. I tried TRANSPORE tape. Over those 3 little nozzles, this is what happens on the graph. And it boosts up the bottom end and makes this a little bit more balanced. Now, here's some track impressions about that. So this is with the little piece of tape over those 3 nozzles and keeping the stock brass nozzle as is. Nina Simone, I Put a Spell on You. The sparkles stay there. Great vocals. Now the trumpet was sharp and not out of place, where the difference between that and not being the tape is there was less note weight in the bottom end, so you changed the tonality a bit. Okay, Bring Me Some Water live by Melissa Etheridge. You know I love that kind of edgy female vocals. Still has that treble energy, will make the set excellent for those who love this, absolutely love this kind of tuning, where mids and treble are above the bass still, a little bit, but still has lots of bass energy and fullness to the song. So, like this next song, Do It by Ray Moore, it's got a great bass line. It goes low effortlessly, like really stand out. Still a little bit vocal forward, yet not too far off to sound very natural. Rackham by Dead Can Dance. Now this was an interesting one. I used this one for kind of stage, and in more resolving IMs you can tell sense of space, and this is filmed in or recorded in a large studio audience, and you're in the stage, in the audience, not on the stage. they kick your ass off. So you're part of the studio audience. It was a little hard to tell on this one. And again, that's not a knock. It's just the way that this presents, and I wanted to share that with you. The 3T has a smaller kind of stage overall, quite intimate. Drums and strings do sound good. Male vocals sound good. Still good weight to that, even though that has that still lots of energy up top. Andrea Bocelli, Time to Say Goodbye. It's a duet. And here I'm listening to male and female vocals. Clean, clear vocals. Still has a really good balance now with the tape mod between the male and the female vocals, where the non-taped mod, you would be definitely biased towards female vocals, but you put the tape mod on, adds a little bit of note weight and tonality to it, and both of their vocals are standout. So that was a good one. And this was a tough, because I'm listening to every one of these songs at least 3 times, 3 different ways with these different tunings. Nils Lofgren, Keith Don't Go. Again, this is him on the guitar, live recording. Super clean, detailed, nice guitar, nice macro dynamics. The difference between macro dynamics and micro dynamics. Macro dynamics are overall song presentation, excitement, build up, quiet passages, loud passages. Micro dynamics are within the song itself, and can you pick up the very quiet nuances, and then the pickup, so the overall macro dynamics of the song was exciting. Micro dynamics were still there, but not as exciting. It wasn't huge, and there certainly wasn't complaints on my side. Switching gears to Last Time by Labyrinth, Big Boom. Wow. Yeah, the 3T154 was flexing. It was. Bring it on. That's what it said. It was kind of playback. So EDM, yes, proved. Tiny Dancer by Elton John. So listening to vocals, listening to piano, timbre, tonality, super clean vocals. Man, oh man. Not expecting that on a big-ass driver. It's just effortlessly. Again, I use that word. A little bit light on the weight, but not too far off. The highs are a real treat in this song with, again, tape mod, stock nozzles. Solo Porti by Amiwana, which is the kind of name of the song, by the Gypsy Kings. So here I'm listening to again, and I just can't remember what it was. I asked the boys, I said, what is that instrument that goes from right to left forward back to right back? And they said it was a flute, but I can't see anybody playing a flute by your knees, but that's the way it sounds in some IMs. How did the 3T154 do? Well, it did actually better than average. You could get a good sense of the depth when that instrument moves forward and then back to the other side and back, where some IMs can't do that. So this IM maybe isn't the widest or the highest, but it has also a very good sense of depth. So that's what it did different from other IMs. Again, everything was contained in a relatively small space, and I love that kind of stage for chill sets. Raising Venus by Malia. So this is the lady that also sings with Yellow, right? Some techno. This driver, oh my God, vocals, wow. Not fatiguing at all, at volumes, fun times. That was my notes. Vivaldi double cello, Tina Gao. She's an electric violinist, and I love her stuff. Strings on the violin are definitely spot on. Microdynamics, again, could be better. But again, we're talking $150 IM. There's no complaints. Not at this level. If this is a more expensive I am going to turn the screws to it more, because you should get more for what you pay for. I have no complaints. A cello was very nice with the low notes as well. So, now, what happens when you do the tape mod and you do the double medium density 5x5 filters and a 500 Olina kind of filter on the nozzle? This is what happens. Okay, so overall now the sound, this is the third kind of tuning. And again, I'll pull up a graph and you can see the 3 different tunings. Overall sound signature is now, I think, in my opinion, way more balanced. Bass extends lower, or at least you get the sense of that. I found the microdynamics now better, I guess, because it was more balanced, and you could pick up things that you didn't hear before. Again, if you flatten out that curve, or if you kind of, if there's not too much variance between the lows, the mids, and the highs, you're going to be able to hear more things. Here's the big thing that happened, though. The smoothness factor. I don't know if that's a thing, but I just named it. Doubled 2 times. Because of the more balanced tuning, you could, again, pick more nuances in the bottom end. So double bass, cellos, kicks, whatever, they all sounded like they had more detail, more texture to it, more organicness to it. And the top end, that extra treble energy, that's still there, even though it's more relaxed with this tuning. Where sometimes in this stock tuning, I think the bass is a bit washed out, where in this tuning, I think it's way more balanced. Male vocals now with this filter on the nozzle and the 2 sponges, foams. Wow, I'm struggling today. Have more energy, and male vocals now sound just as good as the female vocals did in the mids. Sting, Shaggy now are pitch perfect. So for me, to get to, we'll talk about it at the end, more of perfect tonality, this is the mod that I needed to do. It's easy, it's cheap, and you shouldn't be afraid of doing it. Jazz is now really jazzy. It has that kind of smooth, buttery kind of vibe to it. Trumpets, piano, all the instruments now sound correct. Just because, again, it's smoothed out. It's more balanced. It's more natural sounding, and bass is definitely more full and organic. But the bass, so fast and powerful. It's kind of funny in the beginning of this, when I first saw this IM and people started seeing this big 15.4, they think big driver, big bass, and that's not the case. Even with this mod, it's just tastefully done. What happens when you do these 2 mods, you can get some big booty bass, though. Yeah. Zero bloat, I must add. This driver is so quick, so fast, so articulate. Pump it full of gas and just make it go. But it's speedy. Love it. Last part, before we get into concluding this bad boy, is Thor Molinar Mark II. You've never heard of this? I've talked about it a little bit because I was fortunate enough to pick up one of these 100 limited run 100 IM sets made by a Chi-Fi tuner, not well known in Western markets, also using Monster driver as well. Again, doing that same kind of thing where it's using a super strong motor structure, done a little bit differently, where they have this little BA venting hole. Now the differences between the 2, and I love this one again, beryllium. The mod, you can't mod this like you can this, right? This is my new favorite big dynamic driver, where I love where you put something to this driver, it's coming to town and running you over with a steam truck. This one's running over with a cement truck that's pulling a locomotive. So the Thor overall, it has more energy up top. It was $400. So it was 70% more than this. It has better technicalities, has better microdynamics. It also has a whole lot more upper treble information, which is probably contributing to that. Bigger stage as well. Goes to the Thor. Musicality wise, goes to the 3T, hands down. Have these two, and I gotta sit them side by side. Which one am I gonna pick up? Bang. All right. I'm sorry, Thor. You still have a special place in my heart, but I'm gonna keep you as a collector's item. Yeah, easy win for me on the 3T 154. 3T 154, 3 Tesla, 15.4 millimeters. Hey KZ, if you want to learn how to name your IMs, maybe go ask iBasso. That's all I got to say about that. Anyway, let's conclude this bad boy. $150, $149. Oh, you know what? Let's have a little. Okay, let's talk about the case for a second. Okay, here's the case. Hold on. I gotta put these things in here, and I kind of got it wrapped up a little nicely, and I'm gonna try and put it in its case. Beautiful. Something case. It's green. And I'm gonna try and yeah, fits. Yes, you can get these monster IMs in this case that it provides. Really nice little case. Love this case. Here's some feedback to you, iBasso. Maybe just a little bit bigger case, and then leave like a little mesh pocket, so like on the top lid or something like that, where you could put the extra termination, and the little screwdriver in there would be fabulous. That would be a great idea. Just a little bit bigger case. Love this idea. You're doing great. So in my pictures, I have a little bit of fun, right? I can do that. I'm allowed to, where, you do have a little, right? So some things aren't meant to go together, right? There's Houston, we have a problem, right? Just saying. Okay. Anyway, that's it, except for the conclusion now. Bloody hell. Okay. Did I enjoy the 3T 154? Well, obviously, I'm well known for my enthusiasm on stuff I like, and obviously, if I didn't convey that, I like this IM, right? There might be fitment issues for some. You're going to have to play around with tips for sure. If you are not preferential to the stock tuning, well, let's talk about the stock tuning, really. I mean, I did kind of say who that's for, and it's going to appeal to there's a lot of people that don't want to be bass hammered. They want good mids, they want good treble, and they want it clean and detailed. That stock tuning is for you. We take it one step further with that really easy mod with that TRANSPORE tape you can go buy anywhere, and it's super cheap. You should have some anyway. It's a medical thing. And it's so, I mean, I'm Canadian, so we talk in millimeters here. Sorry, my southern friends. But the 3 millimeters wide by, it was about 12 millimeters long, covers those 3 holes. So simple, fast, easy mod over the 3 holes. Don't be afraid of doing it. It's not going to damage anything. And unlike the EA 500, where it kind of sort of muddied up the base a little bit, you're not going to have this issue with the 3T 154. Take it a step further. So that tuning, the middle tuning, is great for people who still want their upper mids and not upper mids, just really mid-range and treble. This doesn't have a huge pinna upper mid kind of thing going on. It's quite nice, but you want more bass. Well, slap that tape on, shebango, away you go. Now, third tuning, where you want to have a more balanced, relaxed set. Again, super easy. 30 cents in filters and some tuning sponges to put in the supplied second set of nozzles. So it's not like you have to keep doing things to, you just basically unscrew the nozzles and put on new nozzles in 20 seconds. So an easy third tuning makes this 3T 154 a 3-trick pony. And that's pretty cool. 3 different, very different tunings to really fit pretty much a wide variety of people. If you can get this IM in your ears, it's comfy. So, and you'll be blessed with 3 wonderful ways of listening to it. So, last little thing I was going to talk about is sources and cable. So if you like that more energetic, less bassy tuning, you're also going to like the stock SPC cable. It's a great choice, a great pairing to go with it. If you like a little bit more note weight, switch out to a pure copper cable, right? No silver in it. You'll find a slight difference there, or at least I did. That also, and then it was kind of funny, and then I went with the tuning filters and the sponges, foams, whatever. I went back to the stock cable because it added that little bit extra, and it was a really good balance. And then you're also balancing off with your sources, right? So for me, when it was overly energetic, I used my desktop stack sitting right here beside me with the Gishelli E2 amp and the J2 DAC with the 4499EX. That is a really smooth DAC. And in conjunction with the E2 amp was a phenomenal pairing with this IM. It is warm, it is smooth, but it just seemed to take all the edge off the 3T 154. Now again, tips are most important, fitment is very important, cables are least important, sources are very important. How you perceive and how you hear this is also going to be greatly affected by your sources. And again, so I'm very blessed to have a variety of different DAC chips and different sources. If I want something bright and analytical, the old school iBasso DX90, Shanling DX170, lots of dongles, and then of course the desktop stabs, both Gishelli and then Shanling M8. So I got a bunch. So again, pair your IM with, you can really, this is I guess a credit to this IM where changing sources definitely changes the overall tune. of this IM. So it's resolving enough to pick that up, and that is a compliment. So to wrap this up, iBasso, my first one, thumbs up. I quite enjoyed this set, and something I'm happy to have in my collection, and it goes into my daily box. So that says a lot. Thank you much, and look out for more reviews, because this is going to go on tour now with the Canucks Audioholics, and see what we all have. There's 5 of us, and we all have different tastes and different ears. So something that I might love, they might not like as much, or vice versa. So thank you. Tone Deaf Monk, out for now.